Brought to you by stgamers.com. Welcome to another Empire Replay review by stgamers.com. This week's video is going to be a video more for the newer players on the Empire Total War multiplayer scene. I'm seeing a lot of players that are just coming in, and although it's fun to have a nice setup of grenadiers, have some militia in there and some light infantry to have a fun battle, that will get you killed. So I want to just go over a few newbie mistakes that new players can avoid and have more fun battles and last longer. So as we go through this battle, I'm just going to show a few things that newer players can do to improve their game, and some things that maybe they will not have learned otherwise unless they've played 20-30 games. So we're trying to save you some heartache here and give you a few pointers. The first one in an artillery match is your artillery placement. Terrain has a lot to do with your trajectory. These cannons are placed in a terrible position because they're going to be shooting right into the back of his own infantry and also into the ground. So really, my troops, as they're advancing on the French line, have free reign of the field. They won't be getting hit with artillery. Very few, if they do make it over the hill. This one may be, right here. But bad placement by artillery. You always want to have it maybe up here. Would have been a better spot, because from here you've got clear shots throughout the entire map, whatever the range of your artillery might be. And this is myself playing the Russians. I like the 4 units of cavalry just to run down light infantry, which is another point that I want to make for newer players. Light infantry are not meant to be in hand-to-hand combat with other foot infantry, or with other infantry, or with cavalry. Cavalry are made to destroy light infantry. So you want them protected. These stakes are good. It's good to have stakes, and you want to have your line infantry not far behind. Let me see a few cannonballs got through there, and that actually did pretty good damage to my horses. But this unprotected line infantry unit is now dead. I got 2 units of light dragoons, actually regular dragoons, hitting them on the side. There's no troops in a range of fire except for these, which is probably a bad decision on my part, to go after this early in the game with so many guns pointing at them. But you can see how unprotected light infantry can be cut to pieces pretty quick by horses, by cavalry. So be careful with your light infantry. They will win you battles if you protect them. They've got the range and they've got the speed to stay away from the enemy line infantry. And another thing for newer players, don't pick militia. Militia have terrible morale. They can't fire by rank. They look like it, squares out your army to a nice, realistic army. But this is Empire Total War, not the real world. So don't use militia. You can use the money a much better way. Line infantry, guard infantry, and riflemen. Another disadvantage of this player's setup, who's chosen the camper defense setup on a hill, the less you move, the easier it is for an enemy to get into a better position to attack you. As you can see, I've been doing a diversion action here on this flank here, while I've been moving up my main army, splitting them off now, one to go on the top of this hill, one to come around this flank and hit them from 2 sides. So if you're playing defensive, you got to be ready to fight on all sides, because you give your opponent plenty of time to position and get into the best attacking position. Here's not the greatest move by myself, the cavalry charge, but something to keep in mind for newer players. You can charge through spikes only if you're going back to front. Don't go front to back. You will lose your horses. That's what spikes are for. So keep your horses away from those spikes unless you're going through them. And we're going to see another mistake here. These light infantry are following the cavalry out into the open. Don't do that. They will die. Just trying to help you out. And I'm hoping to, if we can get more of these videos, maybe get some other users to make these, that newer players will have a bit more of an edge than they do now. They don't really have an edge at all. Myself, being a new player, got beat pretty bad, pretty often. I'm still not that great, but I'm not really making these mistakes. And I don't want to take anything away from this player. He's having a great time, but I bet you'd have more fun if you put up a better fight. So, just something to take a look at, and we'll be fast forwarding through these battles here and there just to see some mistakes that are made that could have been avoided, and the outcome of the battle might have been different. Here's something I wanted to show newer players, is laying down fire while moving troops. When you're repositioning, it's good to have some fire being laid down on the enemy. Kind of disrupts them, gives them a chance to, or gives your troops a chance to get into position without being under fire or while taking casualties. So they're distracted with that. So I have some riflemen here laying down some fire on this flank while I move into position my line infantry and guard infantry. And you'll see here that I have guard infantry, and then line infantry, and then another unit of guards in the end. That morale boost will keep those line units cohesive and unbroken much longer than if they were by themselves. So remember, guard units are a great way to improve army morale. They have about 125 range for their morale boost, which is about the range of a rifleman. So as long as guards are within that range, which is about the range here, then you'll have a good way to get the morale boost. And here again, unprotected light infantry, not a great idea. Cavalry come in, cut them down, and it's game over for that unit. I won't watch this whole thing, but this horse unit pulls out, and he charges his light infantry into this line, which blows them away and routs them in 2 volleys. So light infantry are not main combatants. They're to be the ones that run around, shoot, run, more guerrilla tactics and movement than holding something. And they also lay down good cover fire for moving troops. You see over here on the other flank, I've split my army to attack in 2 places, and my riflemen are ready to attack uphill. Attacking uphill is very dangerous. You've got to get to the top of the hill. Don't stop and start firing, as I did here, unfortunately, because your bullets will just be going right into the ground. You won't be accomplishing anything. And as they march up, they're going to be flanking this unit, and this player's micromanagement is a huge part of this game. You can't forget about a unit. You can't just place them somewhere and hope that they stand against whatever comes at them. So always keep an eye on all your units, constantly be moving around the screen, checking on all your units, keeping an eye on, if you're in a 2 versus 2, keeping an eye on your teammate, seeing what he's doing, and then keeping an eye on yours. You see here a feudal charge of militia into line infantry. In some cases that may be a good idea if you're just trying to keep the line infantry from firing while you're getting other troops into position, but as you can see, no other troops are here. And here come my cavalry. Remember, this way through the spikes, hit the militia, and you can see they're routing. So units by themselves don't do very good against anything. And just another note, a unit in square formation, not only do you get a cavalry bonus, but you do better in hand-to-hand combat. So if you've got one unit being attacked by a couple in hand-to-hand, go ahead and square them up, and it can't hurt. It just it helps you a little bit. So here we go. Again, here watching these cannons, they're firing into the back of his own men and into the ground. They're not doing a lot. Here's the range game. This is what wins. If you can keep your men out of the range of the other men, you're going to win, obviously. So here, the rifles are taking shots at the line infantry. And notice, as the line infantry gets close, this is where micromanagement comes in, you move back your light infantry. You do not stand toe-to-toe with line infantry, especially Prussians, who have the higher morale and the higher defense as well. So here, the light infantry are moving back. Heavy infantry should move forward. And a good player like this one here, he's moving his line back. He's not going to chase light infantry. In this situation, when you have 35 grenadiers and then 2 units of riflemen that are full strength, don't chase. Run away, because they'll outrange you, they'll outrun you, and they'll cut you to pieces, like so. It's cool to have grenadiers that can throw grenades, that's awesome, but they've got to be really close to do that. Otherwise, you see here the light infantry move back out of range, turn around and start firing on the guards or the grenadiers. So it's really futile. Don't do that. Keep your units together. And that's the end of part 1.